Okay, I'm back and I just glued down my images using that Yoo-Hoo glue stick, and I just wanted to show you that for this image of this lady, that when I cut her out of the paper, she was really long. And so what I'm going to do is, after I glued her down, is I'm just going to trim her so that she fits to the page. I always find that it's sometimes important to use the images that you have, and just because something's too long doesn't mean that you can't use it. You just have to make it work for the page. And so I'm just trying to be careful not to cut off any of the beads that I have behind here. Of course, I could have probably trimmed her beforehand too, but I just wanted to show everybody that that it's okay to cut images apart and just use pieces of images to make it work for your art. So that's how that page looked. And I still might add on, before I mail it off to someone, some sort of embellishment right here. Maybe put something on her head beads up there before I mail it off. But like, I haven't decided yet who I'm giving these to. So now for this fold right here, we're going to decorate that real quick. And so what I did is I cut out an envelope with some of the paper. It's a tag pocket from Tailored Expressions. It is an expensive one. This one was actually $30, but I had a ticket or at the store, King Crafts here. We get punches when we buy stuff, and so I was able to use $15 off on it, so it wasn't too bad then. But I use it quite a bit for different projects. But so here's what it looks like when you cut it out. And so I already put tape right here. I did score it right here and right here. I could put these little flaps on the outside of the pocket if I wanted to, but I like to do them on the inside just because it gives the inside of the pocket just a little bit more room, so you can stuff a few more things in there if you want. And so for in this pocket, out of the paper collection, I cut out these images, and they just look like covers of magazines. And so I'll stick those into the pocket. And on the back side, I put some tape, and I did use 3 pieces of tape back here just because I presume when people are going through the book, opening and closing it, I just want to make sure that it's secured really well to the page and it's not going to fall off. And so I'm just going to kind of eyeball where the middle is. It doesn't really matter. And so now it's stuck down. So my next step is I have some little Velcro dots. And you can buy these in like the sewing section of like a Joann's or a Hobby Lobby, because I use them for sewing, and I just find that they're cheaper than anything that you can buy in like a stamp store. And so then the negative side of and then it matches perfectly. So now open it up, and you got a little spot, and then I'm going to attach this. So I already put some tape on the back half of it. I didn't put tape on the bottom because I want it to hang over the flap of the envelope, and so I just make sure that I'm got my tape part covered. So there's that decoration right there. I also fussy cut out a flower from the paper. I'm going to stick that right there. And then I have these 2 postage stamps that I already cut out. And we're going to glue those down. So I just have a scrap piece of paper here. And my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. Put this image up in the corner, and we're going to do the same thing for the bottom one. I usually just try to find a scrap piece of paper to use. I could just do it on my craft mat, but then I'm constantly having to clean my craft mat, so I just find it's easier to have a scratch piece of paper on the side. And I will layer that one down. So now we are done with that side. So now to decorate the middle, and before, here's what I had done. Is in the middle of this one, I just put down some lace. And I'm going to turn off the camera and go grab that and be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I decided before we put down the piece of lace, we're going to put down our flaps, because this is a flip book, so it's important to do some sort of flap. Whether we do a flap that flips from the top or from the bottom, or even some that you put in the middle that flip. Of course, we can't put anything on the top of this one because we did the pocket. So we're going to do it on the inside. And so I'm just going to go in a little bit. Here's my fold right here. So I'm just going to go in a little bit from the fold. And this time I'm just going to use this black and white washi tape. That's from Scotch brand. I'm just going to tape it down. Trying to get half of the tape on the cutout and half on the background piece of paper. And I'm trying to stay away from the fold line so that it still folds really nice. And so there's my bottom flap. And then right on top of that one, I'm going to put another flap. Just lining them up the best I can. And then I'm going right back over where I had tape before. So now we have two flaps in our book. And I usually like to add another piece of washi tape right over on the inside, because I find that after you flip the books, or a lot of people have held them, that sometimes your flaps fall off. So again, I could use some more of this, or I might, just to vary it up a little bit, use a little bit of this washi tape, and I just go back over again in the middle, and I just reinforce it. And I think this also adds kind of a extra decorative touch, and it's just kind of a step up from a lot of flip books where I'm just reinforcing it, but it also adds another little decorative element, and you're going to find that your flaps are going to hold a lot longer. So there's those flaps. And then I sometimes like to add little tabs to them. And this is a tab punch that I got from, it's called a McGill brand, M-C-G-I-L-L. And I've had it for a long time, so I don't know if they still make it. But I know Stampin' Up! I've seen a lot of people use a Stampin' Up! One too. And if you don't have a tab punch, just try to find a tab maybe from a lot of scrapbooking papers, or even digital downloads nowadays have different tabs that you can cut out. Just find a template that you like and just make your own template and just keep on reusing them. So even if you can't find a tab that you like, just do it that way. And so for ease, you can use glue, or just, since I'm doing this on video and it's going to go a little bit faster, I just put some tape in there. And just decide where you want to put the tab. This time I'm going to just, and of course I got a little kitty womp. I said that's the one bad thing about tape, and it's already kind of on there, and so I don't want to tear the background, so I'll just leave it. So we got one there. And I'll do another one for the one below it, and I just used some of the scrap paper that was left after I decided what pages I wanted for my flip book. I just cut this out of some scraps, the tabs. But again, it just adds another little extra element to your flip book, just to put some decorative pieces. If I had a different style, I might have added some glitter on top of some of the images, or maybe some glossy accents always is nice. It just adds, like I said, to your book. And so this one I'm just going to put in the middle, roughly. And this way too, when someone's going through and they see that there's another tab underneath it, it makes them want to open it up and see what's behind there. So on the other side, we are going to add another flip right here. It'll flip open. So I'm just going to lay that kind of roughly like that. I'm going to take my washi tape again and just doing the best I can. Just line it up. And I'm just trying to be careful not to put this on the fold, I guess. And the reason why is it just makes the flip book that much easier to open and close and fold all the flaps. So, and for this book, I did do my flaps this way just because of the images, but sometimes it is easy to add some sort of piece of paper that flips down or flips up. A lot of people do the waterfall ones, which are really cute. And again, I like to decorate the insides. I'll add some washi on that one. But first, we're going to add another tab to this flip to be consistent with the other ones. Make the person who's looking at it want to flip up the tabs and see what's underneath. And this time I'm going to put it on the bottom of the flap. What's fun about doing flaps on both sides of the page is you can decide how you want to lay them out, like if you wanted to go every other, or and they're also versatile in that you can, like this one I could use on the other side too as a flap, so that makes it nice. And so for the middle piece, we are going to lay down some trim, just because I want to be able to hold in an envelope or something so I can write my pen pal some sort of letter. And so I'm just going to layer up. I had some scraps here. And so I'm just going to try to decide what's going to fit best. And it looks like I just need, this one's going to fit better. And I'm just going to cut off a little bit of it. If you don't have lace trim, you could use ribbon. You could also just use a piece of paper and make a belly band and decorate it up too. So it looks like my envelope is still going to fit in there. And so for this, I'm just going to use a little bit of, you could use hot glue if you had hot glue. I'm always quite lazy when it comes to hot glue because it means I have to plug it in and wait for it to heat up. So I'm going to just use some glossy accents. I find that I use that quite a bit and I find that it holds. And so for this, we're just going to put a little bit of glue on it on each end. So I'm just going to flip it up. You just want to watch, like if you use ribbon or something that you, this trim holds together pretty good. But a lot of trim, you do need to burn your edges with a lighter or a match or something just so that they don't unravel. But this one, this trim, I find I don't need to do that, so makes it kind of nice. And I'm just putting just a little bit on each edge, making sure that I don't have any glue on my mat because I don't want to end up with glue on the back side of my pocket. I did buy this trim at Hobby Lobby, and it's trim by the yard, and if you watch for sales, a lot of times you can get it like at 30% off, and I've seen it even up to 50% off every once in a while, but usually it's 30% off. And so I'm just going to hold that down and glue it, but I'm also going to reinforce it with some washi tape down the middle, so it might take a little while for that to fully glue down. So be patient if you're making one yourself. And this one I might need to reinforce with a couple pieces, but we'll see. See how it does here. In an ideal situation, you would want to make, since I'm doing this on the video, you would want to just wait the extra minute or two for the glossy accents to dry before you stick your washi tape down, just to make sure that it's down really good. So we'll decorate this side. And so later on I will come back to this page and I will just make sure that everything's stuck down really good. If not, I will probably stick some glossy accents underneath parts of the washi tape just to make sure that it holds it down, because this texture will probably get a lot of use, and if you're putting an envelope in and out, you're going to want to make sure that it's glued down really well. And so now let's decorate the top pocket. And so I did stamp what is a flapper look like stamp, and this came from Artistic Outpost. And I'm just going to layer it up. I already layered it on one sheet of paper. We're going to put this down. I really like using pockets in my flip books. It just adds an extra little element and surprise to it for the person who's getting it. And you can decorate the back, but for now I'm just going to leave the back side blank because I might use it as a spot to put some sort of mail tag down the road if I want to ask my pen pal some questions to answer back. So. And you could use, again, glue to glue these tabs on, but I'm just using tape. If you don't have tabs and you don't feel like you want to trace and make your own template, you could also do like a circle, use a circle punch, and, you know, attach a couple circles or something and just glue them together up at the top. Like, you go like this, the circle. Probably a smaller one than that one, but and just by adding tabs and some different stuff, it's just going to make your flip book stand out a little bit more, show your pen pal just that you care a lot, just because you're adding all these extra little elements to it, and it'll make them say wow when they open it up. So there's our pocket for tag. And so for this tag, again, you're going to want to cut it, or this original sheet was 6 by 6, and I just cut off between a 1/4 and an 1/8 of an inch on all the sides, just so that it sits in there really good. And since we did do gussets, you can see how well it goes in and it doesn't get stuck. So now one last little extra element up here just to show you. I did, you know, hole punch out part of that. And so I did cut a black circle using this punch. And then to add a little extra decorative element up here, I am going to just stick this in kind of the best that I can, because this hole punch is just a little bit smaller than the blue one. And I'm just going to punch out a circle. But what I want is this piece right here. I can use that circle on something else. And so what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue and being careful not to put any glue on the tag that we just put in there. We're going to glue that down. And so I will just cut off the top part of that circle right here. I just cut that off. But that just adds a little bit of a decorative edge to our pocket at the top and reinforces it a little bit. So that's just going to take a minute to dry there. But I just want to make sure, I'm just going to stick my fingers in there just to make sure I didn't have any glue in there, because I don't want to glue something down that I don't want to. So that's kind of a quick, easy way to decorate decorate up there. And to take it a little step further, you could add a little bit of bling on it, or if you have a white Sharpie pen or something, you could draw something or a name. And so, again, I'll stick a letter in there. I'll close that for now. And then our last section to decorate is a really basic, easy section right here that I just cut out a piece from the paper collection. And depending upon what you're going to stick in your pocket, you can either just glue it down or tape it down as is. Or if you know you're going to stick a lot of goodies in there, again, I highly recommend that maybe you make a gusset like we did for the tag top pocket. And you do it basically pretty much the same way. So I had extra pieces that I cut out. These were 6 inches long, but you would just measure the sides of your pocket. And since I need 2 of those, I'm just going to cut those right away. And we're going to glue these on the back. But again, we're going to angle it just so everything's nice. So that's angled, and you're probably going to see better what I'm doing now than what I did earlier for the pocket. And this one I'm probably going to need to cut off a little bit too. See how long my pocket is here. Usually when it comes to decorating the insides, I try to look at what scraps I have left when I'm trying to find a spot for a tuck spot or something like that, and I try to incorporate instead of cutting up a new sheet of paper what I already have. So I'm just gonna make these, make sure that they fit here. So I still need to cut this side yet. And for ease of the video, I'm just going to attach tape on here for now. And tape all these down, just so it goes a little bit faster. I actually should put tape on both sides because we are going to tape it to the book. So might as well just do that right now, right away too. So hopefully you guys are learning something as you're watching. I really appreciate everyone's watching and subscribing. I'm up to 60 subscribers now, so I'm really excited about that. Hopefully down the road I'll do some sort of giveaway. Probably not like at the magic number of 100 like everybody seems to. I kind of have a random number in my head, and once I get to that number I will do some sort of giveaway or challenge or something. I haven't quite decided yet. I've been watching other people's videos, and I think that's a great way to encourage people to come back and watch my channels, but also to say thank you to everybody out there for subscribing and for watching and for commenting. It really means a lot to me to have people do that. And so I also try and do the same for other people out there, is subscribe and watch the people, especially those that you really enjoy watching and you find yourself going back to every time. And I didn't have to take the tape off of the one side, but I accidentally already did, so we'll just leave it. I usually like to do a side and the bottom. Just in case I need to make adjustments, I still can. So now we're going to tape it to the back to our book. So that's kind of what our gussets look like. And again, those were just 1 inch that I scored at 1/2 inch, and I just cut them to fit the pocket. And so I'm just going to lay this down, and since it is tape, it will be more permanent. So I want to make sure I know where my fold is, because I don't want to tape it on top of the fold, otherwise I will never be able to get my book shut very nice. Match it up the best I can. So now we have a nice little pocket that actually can fit a few goodies in it. If you don't put gussets in there, sometimes it's really hard to stuff more than a couple things in, I found. So, and then I'm going to glue down this Couture word that I cut out of the paper collection. But I'll do that off camera because I don't think everybody needs to watch me glue another thing down. But that is our book, and it ties shut, and you can decide. On my original book, I just used a stamped image that I had, and I have another one cut out that just says from the art studio of. So what you could decide is if you want to leave this loose, or you could tape it down like we did on the front, and you could embellish and put some, if you're into decorating the back sides of your card, you could do some sort of, or your card, your flip book, you could do that and tape it down and put stuff on top, or just leave it loose and do it like that. So it's up to you. I appreciate everyone watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this little tutorial. I basically just wanted to teach everyone how to do the pockets because I had a couple people asking how I did those. So that was my main purpose of this one. And again, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Give me a thumbs up if you like. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.